Hey everybody, Michael Snyder, California Weather Watch. Today is October 11th, and right now we're looking at the visible satellite imagery. You can see the sun rising across the Pacific Ocean. Have a few marine layer clouds here down across from San Diego. Had a pretty thick marine layer down there yesterday as well, and overnight about 5,000 feet deep, and it actually wrung out some light precipitation, some drizzle. There was some measurable precip across some of the areas of Southern California there, especially across some of the higher terrain. And over the last couple of days, we've got some decent rainfall amounts across some of Northern California as well, including some of the Bay Area. Sacramento actually picked up 100th of an inch also. We'll look at some of those details here coming up in a moment, as we've got a couple more frontal systems coming through the area here, and some of this could bring some precip all the way down towards Central and the Bay Area, Central California and the Bay Area. So we'll take a look at those details here coming up in a moment. We're dealing with some pretty cool weather, nice temperature drops here across much of the state of California, Nevada, on in through Arizona, some gusty winds with it as well, and some nice wave action moving down the coastline. We'll look at those details also. Now, taking a look at Tropical Storm and Hurricane Lydia. This is going over the last couple of days. You can kind of see that deep convection waned for a bit, and then it really fired up as we went through the day yesterday. Check it out. Deep convection going. Look at the I form on Lydia right before it makes landfall, and National Hurricane Center said it made landfall just about as a hurricane Category 4 status. Then you can see as it moves over the higher terrain, the circulation gets disrupted quite quickly, but it does bring a lot of precipitation across some of this higher terrain here as well. But you can see it totally shears and rips apart the hurricane there as it moves across Mexico. And right now, none of this moisture looks like it has any chance of getting up towards the southwest USA. And we'll also take a look at the extended forecast as well and see what's going to go on across the tropics over the next couple of weeks. And this is Los Angeles National Weather Service. Gusty northerly winds through Friday. Coastal areas, valleys, mountain deserts here. Check it out. You're getting some big winds as you go through tonight. Again, Montecito Hills, the Santa Ynez mountain ranges, transverse mountain ranges as well. And then we're going to turn things offshore a bit here. You can see we go north, northeast, gust up to 45, strongest on Thursday. But that's going to be kind of a short-lived event here as we start to turn things onshore again here as we go through Friday. Now, looking at the warming trend Thursday and Friday, not much of a warming trend showing up here, but a little bit of bump in some of the valley areas here. You can see Death Valley at 89 Thursday and then 91 on Friday. Pretty darn right chilly out there, relatively speaking. They probably got the heaters on. Anybody living out there in Death Valley. Taking a look here, high surf gales and rough seas. You can see pretty much all the way up and down the Oregon coast down all the way through California. And this was issued yesterday here. And, some nice wave action moving down here. We'll take a look at the high surf advisory right now. You can see 8 to 12 feet, dangerous rip currents out there all the way down through Santa Barbara County and Central Coast beaches. This goes through about tomorrow afternoon. Now here we're looking at the European. This is Washington, Oregon, California. There's Hawaii way off to the left here, and you can see that wave action moving down the coastline as we go through the day to day, and this should be peaking by the time we go on in through tonight, and then that'll be gradually relaxing as you go through the day Thursday and Friday. You can see kind of a break in that wave action there before some additional Pacific systems are going to be active as we go through this upcoming weekend here, and we'll have to, we're going to be monitoring these closely because they have the chance to bring some precipitation and some more wave action to portions like northern Central California as we go on in through the weekend into early next week. Take a look at the high temperatures today. You can see pretty chilly temperatures actually. Thermal only getting to 89 here. This is San Diego National Weather Service. This was issued very early this morning, and high temperature forecast for some of northern and Central California. Check it out, Stockton, Sacramento, nice chilly temperatures out there as we've got this chilly air moving across the region here and some gusty winds. San Francisco back down from its lofty temperatures here that we had several days ago. 4 straight days of 90-degree heat there. And this is the hazardous seas warnings. This does exist for Oregon and portions of Northern California as well. So heads up, you guys saw the wave action coming down the coastline there. Now, looking at the cocoa rise, this shows you what precipitation we've been getting here over the last 24 hours. And you can see some areas in Northwest California, so a couple areas got up over an inch here. And you can see some of that measurable precip all the way down towards the Bay Area, some of the foothills of the northern Sierra Nevada here as well, even out towards Tahoe here, So we did get some precipitation out here, and some places got some nice amounts. And we may continue this action here as we go through the weekend. We'll take a look at that here in a moment. Southern California, that marine layer, you're pretty deep out there. And, we were wringing out some of this moisture as the strong winds were coming down across the higher terrain. And again, San Diego got officially 100th of an inch of precip there, and some of the higher terrain actually got a little bit more than 1/10 of an inch also, and towards Irvine, and precipitation falling there as well, and some of San Bernardino got some precip out there. So Pretty nice little surprise there with bringing out that much precip with that northwest flow. Now, looking at the system going through the Pacific Northwest here, you can see the precip kind of wrapping up there for Northern California. Then another weak front starts moving in here as we go through the day Friday. And you can see it bringing a little bit of precip down towards the Bay Area here, going towards Saturday. Another system moves into the Pacific Northwest. And then this system here, as we go through the day Monday, it looks like it's bringing some interesting precipitation amounts. Could bring some measurable precip all the way down to Central California here as well. We'll watch this one closely over the next couple days. And this is where the last night's European run ends at hour 144. Now, looking at 100-meter wind speed, as we go through the day today, you can see the winds are still kicking northwest off down the coastline here. Some of the higher terrain, some nice wind gusts occurring all the way through tonight before they finally start to relax. And we turn things offshore by the time we go towards Thursday. A little brief bout of Santa Ana winds here, some northerly winds across some Las Vegas out to the desert areas, and northeast winds as you go across some of Southern California. And then we start to turn things back onshore as we go through Friday afternoon and evening once again. So short-lived bout with the Santa Ana winds there. And this is looking at the accumulated max 10-meter wind gusts. This is the HER 3KM as of this morning. Put into motion, you can see some of these wind gusts still increasing here across some of the area through tonight. Santa Ynez, transverse ranges out there, higher terrain all the way down through Southern California. And like at Catalina, as you go through the day today, some pretty interesting gusts rolling across the area there as well, in excess of 50 miles per hour, for example. Now, looking at, this is for Palm Springs. You can see the cool down that's been taking place, 97 degrees yesterday, back down from those mid-100s there. No precipitation out there for Palm Springs, however. And this is for Bakersfield, California. You can see the big drop, 99 on the 7th and 8th, and back down to 80 for yesterday's temperatures. This is looking at Sacramento, and officially 1/100th of an inch there. We did it. We got a little bit of precipitation for Sacramento and dropped almost 20 degrees here over the last few days, back down to 77. So take a look at the remnants of Lydia. You can see where it was a tropical storm in the orange here, and then you can see its wind swath when it became a hurricane, and it did make it inland bit there as well. And I think it was a Category 4 storm as it made landfall. You saw in that satellite imagery as it developed the eye right before it made landfall and then moved over Mexico. So here we're looking at Mexico. You can see California to the top left here. There's Arizona, there's Baja, and this is a remnant moisture there from Lydia. No threat to the USA portion here, or Southwest USA portion, I should say. This is moving across the Gulf of Alaska, might affect some of the Gulf Coast states, including Florida there. But if we scroll off far enough here to the GFS, you'll see this precipitous water start to come back here as we go into the extended forecast. And as always, there's still this chance this time of year you could develop another tropical system here, and then we'd watch that. Just purely fantasy at this point, but of course we're always going to be watching these systems down here, because if they move up across the Southwest USA, they can be quite high impact events. And you can see how this one wants to move up towards Cabo here on the Baja Peninsula. Now, looking at total precipitation in inches on the European, and this is last night's run here, so it did show some of that precip falling across some of the higher terrain of Southern California, but that kicks out of here. And then we bring this next system here as we go through the day Friday, bring in additional precipitation for some of the Bay Area in Northern California here. And then as we go on in through Monday, the next system arrives. Fairly juicy there. Look at some of Southern Oregon, Northern California getting some nice amounts. And it kind of cuts off right there, but it's starting to bring some precipitation all the way towards the Bay Area. Some of the Sierra Nevada could get some rainfall out of this as well. So yeah, interesting system looking there. We have a few days to continue to watch it here, and we'll see if this trends up or down. Looking at the European on the left versus the GFS on the right, yesterday afternoon's run, you can see that the troughing moving across the area. Temporary ridge, kind of transient ridge builds there, and then we continue to have this Gulf of Alaska, Pacific Ocean troughing that will try to send systems into California here as we go. But you can see as we go off into the extent a little bit further, you can see once we get out towards Monday, we get some disagreement on just what's going to happen. You can see the GFS with a deeper trough further north and west here versus this kind of bowling ball feature moving on into Northern California and Oregon. So we'll watch this as we go, and we'll try to pinpoint just what is going to come with this next system in the early portion of next week. Here's the 6 to 10 day precipitation outlook. This was issued yesterday. You can see that above average signal for portions of central Northern California up to the Pacific Northwest here, and kind of that below average signal across some of Nevada, Arizona, and Utah. Now, percent of average precipitation for the last 12 months, I updated this morning. This is from October 11th of 2022 to October 10th of this year. And you can see many areas across California doing exceptionally well with the amount of precipitation, except for the southeast portion, some of the desert areas a little bit below average there, and some of extreme Northern California as well. Now, if we look at the last month, I'll show you why this can be a little bit deceiving here. You can kind of see It looks like it's been exceptionally dry here across California, but sometimes statistics can lie or it be a little bit deceiving, because if you look closer, we're not getting that much rainfall at this time of year here. So if you go with no rainfall for any shorter period of time, doesn't mean you've got a huge deficit. And I'll show you what I mean, because the actual departure from average here was generally less than 1.5 inches for many of the areas here. So you can kind of see we're not that wet this time of year anyway, so that previous slide can be a little bit deceptive. And here's looking at the U.S. drought monitor. There's California, a little bit of abnormally dry here for portions of Northern California and extreme Southeast California, but really the moderate drought maybe just clips the extreme northern portion of California there. But really, this is quite nice, especially compared to where we were last year with some extreme and exceptional drought blanketing much of the state. And drought will be back. Drought is a normal process of the climate here. Places are going to go through drought no matter what happens here. So just kind of enjoy it while it lasts here, and hopefully we can go through another wet winter with a nice snowpack across the Sierra Nevada, and maybe we'll make a pattern out of this the next couple of years, who knows. But anyway, keep your fingers crossed for that. Now this is looking here at the Pacific North American positive oscillation. We've got the storms and the low pressure system out over the Gulf of the Aleutian low pressure system here, Gulf of Alaska low, and you've got the storm track out here. And this does not mean that you can't get storms into the west coast of North America just because there's the ridge here. Sometimes this will vary by a little bit, and the ridge will back up to the east, and you still get systems into California, Oregon, and Washington here. So this is what we mean by Pacific North American positive oscillation, and you can see that here in the European. It actually shows a positive signal here as we go through about mid-October. So there could be some ridging trying to build in at this point. We'll continue to watch that day by day. But then you can also see how it drops back down as we go towards the end of October into November. A much more variable signal showing up there. But let's see. The models have been showing this as well. The GFS and the European kind of showing some ridging building here as we go through later October coming up. So now you guys are all experts on the Pacific North American oscillation. And the negative pattern, of course, is when this troughing is closer and over the Pacific Northwest here and a lot of the west coast of the USA. So a little another introduction there. I've talked about that before here, but a little recap for you. But anyway, yeah, hopefully you guys get out there and enjoy some of those comfortable temperatures there. Hopefully we can bring some measurable precip and some meaningful precip across central areas of big area California here. It has been exceptionally dry here over the last few months. I should throw that out there as well. So hopefully we can bring some precipitation into the region there, and we'll just continue to watch things day by day as we go. And I hope you guys are liking these videos. The channel's doing well so far. Hopefully things can continue to get up and running. It'll probably take a couple active periods here. Once things get active, then people really hunt down the California weather channels, and maybe we can get the channel some more exposure when that occurs. But anyway, hope you guys are liking these videos. We'll do this again tomorrow, and I will talk to you guys then.